Hey there, and welcome to the channel where you find love, laughs, and DIYs. If this is the first time you've ever been here, welcome. And my name is Crafty Kathy. Hey, I am tickled pink that you're here today. I would hope that you would consider subscribing and just sticking around and becoming a part of our family. So let's see what kind of spring decor I have for you this week. So this week, I decided to make some fresh spring decor where I'm going to do some French farmhouse, and it's all vintage and it's all beautiful. I even have an old window frame that came from a farmhouse right here in Tennessee, and I made the most beautiful creation with DIY number 1. So this window actually came from a really old farmhouse, and it was torn down years ago. It is super dirty. I have an exquisite idea of what I want to do with it. It's a 27 inch by 27 inches, and I wanted to keep that natural beauty and chippiness that the paint has. I didn't want to touch it because I think that things that set out like that are naturally beautiful. And so the first step is to get this baby cleaned up. The front of it here had a little bit of paint left on it, but the back is absolutely bare. It's just old, gorgeous wood, and I want to preserve that. So we're going to use some polyacrylic, and I'm going to give it 2 coats, and you totally let them dry in between each coat. And of course, I'm just going on the wood part. I'm not going on that window part. When I put my polyacrylic on, I like to go in long, even strokes. That way, it doesn't have kind of like, you can't see it really when it dries, but you don't want it to be streaky and all funny looking. So I kind of try to go in one long motion up and down each side, and it really doesn't take much of this at all. And like I said, you get it on the front and the sides there of that window, and then you just let it dry in between coats, and it will turn out beautiful. The friend of ours that I got this window from grew up in this house, so it has a lot of history, and I try to be very careful and just respect that. So I did give the back and the front 2 coats of that polyacrylic because I wanted to seal the front too, that paint that's on there, so it doesn't chip anymore. We're going to use this Home Decor sheepskin color paint. It's kind of an ivory color. And what I'm going to do is on the back side of my window, I am going to actually paint the glass. And no, I'm not crazy. I have a vision in my mind, and it's going to be beautiful, guys. So let's paint this glass with 2 coats. When I put my paint on each window pane, I try to do the same thing. I try to go in long, even strokes so there won't be any kind of streakiness or anything like that. But as you know, chalk paint's pretty thick, so it goes on really well. And I'm using a flat brush that you use for kind of bigger projects anyways, and it's one of my favorite types of brushes to use. The bristles just flow with this chalk paint, and it was very easy to paint it. I cleaned this thing for such a long time, but I had to do it in a gentle way because I actually wanted some of that natural dirt to stay on there. Do you see the side of that window? Not necessarily the dirt, but just the wear and tear that's on that window. To me, like I said, I think that's beautiful, and I wanted to keep that and preserve it. So let's go to our next step, and this would be after I have the 2 coats on and totally dry. I'm going to use the IOD transfers called Flora Paracensis. I think I didn't butcher that word too bad, but I love to use transfers on things like old windows like this, especially the ones that look vintage anyway, because it just goes with the whole beauty of the piece. And like I said, I love to respect these older pieces and take care of them and reuse them. Why not? So I laid everything out the way that I wanted it. And what you do is you take that white backing off of your transfer and you lay it down exactly where you want it. Now, a lot of people tape theirs down, but I don't do that because I like to walk on the wild side, I guess. I really don't know. So I cut it as close as I could to this side, because as you see, those words are so big, we're going to have to go on two different sides. So I cut it as close as I could, and I laid it down, and now the fun part comes. We're going to start scratching away to get it to stick to that mirror. This plastic tool comes in every one of these transfer packs that you purchase, and what you do is you lay it down, and I hold it with one hand, and then you just kind of scratch it. That's kind of the best way I can describe it. You can also use your little Cricut tool here. You can use a credit card. And at first, I thought, man, this is kind of tough. But you have to get the rhythm of what you're doing. And I hope this makes sense. When you're trying to put one of these transfers down, you want it to stick. So a lot of times an easier way to do it is to kind of hold it up as if you're pulling it off while you're scratching it, and it helps it to stick better. I don't really know how to explain that, but I heard the two ladies that own the company, the IOD, they call it getting like a wave underneath it. And it does kind of feel like that, because you're kind of holding up the paper and you're scratching at the same time, and you feel it releasing. So I hope that helps on people that are going to try some transfers. And I want you to look how gorgeous this is when you pull it up. So then we went to the second side and did the same thing. And I have to be honest and tell you that when you are doing these transfers, like I said, the first time that you're doing them, it seems like it's a little tough and like you're just scraping forever. But once you get the rhythm, it really goes fast. So the rest of this piece went a lot quicker for me. This is the bottom part of the rose that I put down. And every piece that comes with IOD has the whole shebang to it. You know what I mean? Even if the stems have to come on another page, they put them there. And I kind of wrestled at first with if I was going to stop the transfer at the bottom, or if I was just going to try to run it over those little middle parts there, you know, like keep the stem going. And I thought, I think I'm going to keep the stem going because it just kind of looks more natural to me, and I like the way that it looks. So I want to show you this first flower when I pull it off. I stopped that stem about halfway down because I wanted to put another big floral arrangement underneath it, and it was going to cover up that stem anyway. And that's the beauty of these types of transfers, is you can use just little pieces here and there, piece it together however you need to make it look right. I don't know if you're like me, my friend, but I am so in love with peonies. They are my favorite flower ever. They're just so beautiful and Victorian, and they just look so old-fashioned to me and just so beautiful. There's just something so elegant but delicate about them. Do you know what I'm saying? They're just a beautiful flower. So I'm not going to make you watch this whole thing. I just wanted to show you how you kind of put these on, and then we're going to go to the fun part. Once I got all of my bigger floral pieces put on there, I had a few smaller pieces that I wanted to use too. And like I said, you don't even have to use all of them. Everything still looks good, you know, if you just want to piece it together. So I took a few of these smaller ones, and I'm just going to add them kind of to the middle just to add a little bit of contrast, because I think these art pieces like this look good when there's a higher, you know, point and a lower point. It just kind of ties it all together. I hope you guys had a great weekend this week. You know, the weather is starting to warm up a little bit, and I totally have spring fever. I know it's only, you know, February, but I really have spring fever so bad, and I know that most everybody else does too. We get sick and tired of this old cold. And look at these beautiful birds. This came from a totally different set. Now, this came from a set called Brocante, and I'm just going to place a few birds on here. I thought that maybe 4 birds would be perfect. And look, you can even cut off pieces that go together like this. As you see, these 6 little birds are kind of a scene together. Well, I'm just going to cut 4 of them off and put them up on the side. I felt like it needed something up there at the top. And my videos are going to be coming out at different times this month. I want y'all to be watching that community tab because on the 11th and the 18th of February, those are both Fridays, I'm going to be doing collabs those days. And I want you to watch my video, of course. And then I'm going to actually start putting my videos out on Thursdays because I've had a lot of requests of people, like 70% of y'all said when I did the poll that you wanted Thursdays. So let's start doing, after this one, we're going to start doing Thursdays. Okay, so every Thursday is going to be our regular video, and except for on the 11th and the 18th. Now, here is where I decided to add another little bird because I wanted to add a little touch of blue in there just for a little contrast. I think the different colors kind of brings the eye right to the center of the piece. And that's absolutely all that I did to this piece. I want you guys to let me know what you think about it. I was going to sell this in one of my booths, but I thought, nope, it's going on my wall in my home. So let me know what y'all think about this one. So let's go to DIY number 2. At the thrift store, I found this beautiful candle holder, and this one is going to go in one of my booths. So the first thing I have to do is clean it up. But I had the most awesome idea to bring this up to a high-end candle holder, and I wanted to use the same colors that was in that picture that we just did. So the first thing we're going to do is clean it up real good with some Windex. I bought this disc at Hobby Lobby, and it's got like moss on the top of it, and it's a styrofoam disc, and it's round, and it is for florals. So what I'm going to do is cut a slit halfway through it, because you know that candle holder had like a long stem, and we've got to kind of get it in there underneath that glass. I had to use a combination of scissors and tin snips to get the hole big enough, or the slit big enough, but I finally got it up under there. And then that moss was kind of coming off in a few spots on my little disc. So what I did was just glued that together. And then I've got all these different florals in this bucket, and they're all kind of springy looking. But remember, I told you I thought I had some florals that matched that picture, and looky here, I sure do. I've got some beautiful peonies, and I'm like, yep, that's what I'm going to use. I wanted that peachy color, and I also wanted a cream color, so everything would kind of go together. So I came up with some peonies, some roses, some azaleas. It was a little bit of a mix of everything. And what you do is you just basically just start sticking everything in, and you kind of got to, you know, just place it where you think it's going to look good, and try to place it in an even way. Like if you're going to put a peony on one side, it's probably best to put one in the exact spot on the opposite side. At this point, I didn't realize I had another peony, but I found it later. So the azaleas is what I had the most of. And as you see, when I put one on one side, I stick one right on the other side. And then I just added my couple of little roses. And then later, when I was going over to set it where I take my pictures for you guys, is when I found my other peonies. So I just added those peonies in on top of what I already had. And I think that every floral piece looks good with some type of greenery. So these are actually just leaves that are like single leaves that I added in behind some of the flowers to make it look like they're stems. And then they're actually like 2 or 3 different types of greenery. And I think that it looks good when you add different greenery like that, because it's like it brings a little bit of contrast to your piece, if that makes any sense. So instead of just using the same one the whole time in greenery, you can use a couple of different ones and nobody ever knows the difference, and it looks better to me. I got everything added in there, and I was going to use this peony, but the colors just didn't look right to me. Now, I used a couple of stems that comes from the Dollar Tree, and it's one of their spring stems that looks like little yellow berries, and I think it's beautiful. And then I just put the glass back on, and I had a candle that I put in there, and here she is. When I found those other peonies, this thing looked really, really full and beautiful and just gorgeous. I'm going to put this piece in my booth for $18. Before we go into DIY number 3, I wanted to remind you, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, we would love to have you a part of it. Hit that little red button that's on the bottom right corner that has my face on it, or that red subscribe button, and that's all you have to do. It's totally free. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up for this video because it really helps support my channel on YouTube. Now let's get into number 3. We're going to make a gorgeous couch pillow with the Easter Bunny on it. Now, I've got these pillowcases that I get at Hobby Lobby, and they're $4.99 originally, but usually you can get them for half off, which is just $2.50, and they're made out of 100% cotton. And I do sublimation. You know, I have that sublimation machine. These are really super easy to make. I have the print here at my house, and so what I do, the first thing I do is lay down my little pad, and I'm just going to use the iron itself and try to iron out the wrinkles in this pillowcase. Then I take my Cricut pad and I stick it right in the middle of that pillowcase. Now, the first time I had printed it wrong because we have to have it mirror imaged. So you lay it down, and doggone it, I forgot to put my heat-resistant tape on it, but thank God it turned out okay. I made sure it was square in the middle. Then you put your wax paper down, and all you do is follow the directions, which is 400 degrees for 60 seconds. And you layer on there for 60 seconds. And then you take off your Cricut press, and when you hold it up, it just sublimates onto the fabric, and it's gorgeous. Look how pretty this is. And this never fades. It never messes up. It's just beautiful. Then you also have to flip your pillowcase over and do the exact same thing, and the color comes out just a little bit more vibrant when you do that. It's so exciting when you lift that iron up and you have a beautiful pillowcase. Now, in case you're interested in this and you have a press, I sell the sublimated prints for $5 a piece, and I also sell the pillowcase already made for $15. If you're interested by any chance, just leave a comment and I'll get back to you. It's always a big seller in my booth. So let's go into our last DIY. I needed some Easter decor in my booth, so I ran to the Dollar Tree and I got a couple of these gold eggs. And I also got some of these 3-inch peat pots, and they come from Walmart. They were like 97 cents or 86 cents for 12 of them. So I'm going to take 3 of those, and we're going to decorate them gorgeous so we can put these in the booth. I keep chalk paint and baking soda already mixed up, and I had the color called Bavarian, which is kind of a yellowy ivory, I guess you could say. And I just brushed over it, just distressing. I don't want to paint these pots. I just want to distress them and make them look old. And then I went to Waverly Plaster because I wasn't really happy with that yellowy color by itself. When you use 2 different colors, it just brings a lot of depth and character to your piece. I'm going to do this the exact same way and just distress every one of these pots. Now, I'm just going over this very, very lightly because I like that natural brown color of that pot to show through. And I made sure to go back and get the rims on every single one of them. Now I've got a piece of styrofoam and I'm going to stick each of these eggs on a skewer. And I'm going to use that paint that was already mixed up with baking soda. And all I did was use 1 part chalk paint to 1 part baking soda. And I made that sheepskin color, a blue color, and a green color because to me that's kind of springy colors. And I think they're gorgeous. And I'm using a lot of blue this Easter, this spring, I've noticed. I'm really into the blue color. So anyways, I go through and I just put 1 coat on each of these because with that baking soda and chalk paint being so thick, I didn't really need to use any more. It covered it up perfectly. And then I just used that little piece of styrofoam or that floral foam so I could stick my eggs in while they're on those skewers and they just dry without any problem. So I ended up just doing 6 eggs for this quick project. Is it just me or is this video going really fast today? Don't forget to stick around for the bloopers because we got Bobby Joe and Sabby and you know they want to see you guys. And just in case you missed it in the first part, we're going to start doing our video on Thursdays instead of Sundays, except for on the 11th and the 18th, which are Fridays, and those are 2 days I have collabs. But all that's going to be on the community tab, so just watch your community tabs. Now, my peat pots turned out beautiful, and I want to use some of these transfers that come from the Dollar Tree that say spring on them, and I love the part that has tiptoe through the tulips at the top and a beautiful white rose. Now comes the fun part. We're going to use our clay and we are going to use our crockery stamps from IOD and we're going to make molds to go on the front of 2 of the pots. So what you do is get a little bit of the clay, get it warmed up in your hand, and I didn't have my roller, so I used my little brayer thing. It works the same, and I just kind of rolled it out. And then I pressed it on the stamp that I wanted. And when you pull it off, you have all the words on there. So then I made sure it's going to fit on my pot. And then I'm going to go ahead and make my second one. And then I just use my Star-Bond glue on the back because that will stick anything together. And we're going to put that on the front of our pot. Now, you do have to put it on whatever you're wanting to attach it to before it dries because when this clay dries, it's not going anywhere and it's going to be formed already. So that's all I did to these to attach them to the pots. And then I started using that Bavarian colored chalk paint. And I didn't really care for that color too much. And I was doing it in a distressing type motion. I didn't want to paint that whole front. I just wanted to distress it. So then I used my mineral chalk paint from Waverly, and that's the color that I was looking for. It's almost the color of the pot, just a little bit more of a gray color. And I wanted it to be very subtle and just look like an old pot. And then I just used my dryer to dry all of that color that I had just put on the pots. I'm going to use this peachy color of paint that I have, and this is the type of paint that you use when you're doing those silk screen transfers like the chalk couture, you know, where you just like it's a paste. I'm just going to use that because it's the only thing I had in that peachy color and I wanted this whole vignette to match. And so what I did was just very lightly went over that mineral color with this beautiful peach color. And oh, it just turned out gorgeous. Very subtle, but very pretty. My eggs turned out beautiful and had the perfect consistency. So what I did was laid them back in the little egg crates and took some of the Spanish moss and kind of went in between those eggs to make it look like they were just beautiful little, I don't know, little eggs in a basket. And then I took my Spanish moss and also filled up the little peat pots with it. I took some of that DIY wax, it's white wax, and I'm going to put that on each and every one of my eggs. And all you do is just brush a little bit of it on and then wipe it, most of it off with your napkin, and what it does is turn out just looking old and vintagey. It's just really pretty. And I also put another transfer on a few of the eggs. There's just something about the way that white wax looks up against that green and that blue. It just makes it look so old and vintagey and just so pretty. And it just all went together perfectly. And I also had another 6 eggs that were wooden eggs. And also I have a few from last year where I took old song hymnals, ripped them into small pieces, and then you Mod Podge it on the egg, and it's really pretty. I got this beautiful washi tape last week off of Amazon, and it's linked in my Amazon store in case you want any. It's got beautiful flowers and just really pretty designs on it. And I took a few pieces of one of the ones that I liked that had like flowers on it, postcards, that kind of thing. And I'm just going to use this tape and put it in 2 places on the front of one of the pots. That stuff is really easy to use, and oh my goodness, it turns everything beautiful. Now to put the flower pots together. This is what the one looks like that I told you has the song hymnal on it. I'm going to place that one and a wooden one in one of them. And then also I made up another little nest, I guess you could call it, with the Spanish moss and the little eggs that have the songs on them and the wooden ones together. I even ran some of the washi tape on the front of one of the little egg cartons. Then I just tied a ribbon on the top with this little ticking ribbon that comes from the Dollar Tree. I absolutely love this ribbon, but I can't find it anymore at my Dollar Tree. And to finish it off, I got these little birds off of Amazon the other day, and they are the cutest things. They're all different colors, and they are in my Amazon store in case you guys want some. They're under must-haves in the category. So I just took them and put a little bit of DIY wax on them to kind of knock them down because they are kind of bright colored. I put one of the little birds sitting on the side of one of the pots, and then I put another little bird right in the center of that ribbon on one of my little egg cartons. Look how absolutely cute and adorable he is, and let me know what you think about this last DIY. Guys, if you've stuck with me through this whole video, thank you so much. I love you guys. Now, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, and for those of you who haven't subscribed, come on, man, join our family. Hit that red subscribe button. If you're looking for a community of love, laughs, and DIYs, you found your channel, my friend. Hey guys, it's Kathy. I hope that you enjoyed the show. I wanted to come on here and tell y'all something really strange that's going on. All right, Bobby Joe, my cousin, has told me that she has gotten a proposal from a big Hollywood producer that watched my show, and he wants her to be the star of some channel that's going to be on TV. Now, all of that sounds really fishy to me, but we're going to talk to Miss Bobby Joe today, and we're going to find out exactly what is going on in this holler.
Hey guys, it's Crafty Bobby Joe, and yep, it's true. Remember I told y'all last week about that big old Hollywood producer that found me? He found me and wants to drag me out of Tennessee like a dandelion blowing in the wind. He said I had it all. I got brains, talent, beauty, everything, and I can cook. Mama done showed me how to cook a polecat in 1 hour. Now I bet none of y'all can beat that. But anyways, I want to show y'all about this show that I'm going to be on. I'm going to be the star. Now, my mama don't believe me one bit. She thinks I'm either scheming up some kind of lie or just it's not going to be good for me. She said they're making fun of me But Mama always likes to hold me back and hold me down. She didn't even want me and Buford to get married. But anyways, I'm going to let y'all know when that show comes out, and I'm going to let y'all know that on February 14th, you are invited to my wedding at the Chattanooga Courthouse on account of there ain't nobody thought about getting married on Valentine's Day. So me and Buford, we's real geniuses. I love y'all, and I'll see you soon, probably on the big screen.
Well, guys, we got to cut the video off. We're already really long-winded. So what do you think about Bobby Joe? That's kind of what I thought. But here on our channel, we got love and laughs and DIYs. We got love and laughs and DIYs. We got some love and laughs and DIYs. We got love and laughs and DIYs. Woo-hoo-hoo, baby. Yeah. And we got Bobby Joes and Pugs. Say hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Oh, don't lick me in the mouth. You don't know where that mouse been. I love y'all. Hey, babies. Hey, girls. What you doing out here in the rain? Come here, Pan. Come here. You. Come here. Oh, they're my babies. Yes, they're my beautiful girls. And then there's the Lone Ranger in the back. That's old Emo. Hey, but they're my Loretta. There's my Loretta. They're my Penny. Pen. And there's Minnie. Let me see what your feathers look like, Minnie. Are you naked? Yep, she's still losing feathers. She just looks scrawny, or I don't know, just featherless. I love you girls. Get in out of the rain. I don't have no mealworms on me. Go get out of the rain. It's time to get in your coop for the night anyway. Go get in your coop. Look, Minnie's going to the coop. She knows where to go. Oh, they're beautiful. Look at her. Shake that thing, baby. Shake it, Minnie. Shake it, Pan.
No.